Hi, my name is Nzambi Mate, founder of Gjenge Makers Limited, and this is called To Create, a podcast where we talk about faith, business, and science. Gjenge Makers is a social enterprise that converts plastic waste into building products. So in a nutshell, this is a company that manufactures building products, in this case pavers. In Kenya we popularly know them as cabros, from plastic waste. There's also another company that has stemmed from Gjenge Makers, which is Gjenge for Earth. And Gjenge for Earth is a non-profit that does plastic waste collection, pre-processing, and community engagement. So the journey in Kenya and in most parts of Africa is from the source, and this source in this context is two sources. The first source is the household or the organization or the institution where that plastic waste is being generated. That's the first source. The second source in Kenya and in Africa is this: landfills, dump sites, environment. This is the other source, and for us this is actually the biggest source. So we have categorized plastic waste, or rather the plastic waste that we process. We have three categories. We have the post-consumer plastic waste. Post-consumer plastic waste, this is the plastic waste we get from the landfills, from the household collection, from like the companies, the waste companies that if you hire a waste company to come and take your waste, or you have the youths, the boys who come take your waste and go and process it or landfill it or dump it for you. Ideally speaking, when they do the first pre-processing, or rather the sorting, they give it to us. Now that's post-consumer. The next one is post-industrial. Post-industrial plastic waste is plastic waste we get from factories. So these are anything from beverage companies to different plastic packaging companies and plastic product companies, to not medical, but seals and covers and containers. A lot of packaging plastic waste lies in the post-industrial category. And then the third category, which for us is now proving to be one of the biggest, is automotive plastic waste. For those who don't know, there is about, I think, 20 to 30% of your car parts is actually plastic waste. And a lot of that plastic waste is not processed by a lot of recyclers, because automotive plastic has a lot of additives that help it function in one way or another within the automotive sector. And so, for example, if your car bumper, if you maybe have a minor accident and you break down your car bumper, your mechanic removes it and puts for you another, the one which he throws, that's where we come and get the automotive plastic waste. So those are the three sources. Once the plastic is collected, we clean it, we sort it, we crush it, we categorize it depending on the source and also the type of plastic. So what I mentioned to you, the post-consumer, post-industrial, automotive, that's segmentations of sources of plastic waste. The types of plastic waste we use is LDPE. LDPE means low density polyethylene. PP, that's polypropylene. HDPE, high density polyethylene. A bit of PET, polyethylene tetrafilate, your bottles, and a bit of ABS. ABS is different parts of the car. So all that is types of plastic waste. So we take this plastic, we clean it, we shred it, we process it, and then we bring it to the factory. Now here in the factory, all this happens here. Now in the factory, what we do is we take it, we mix it with the sand, and depending on the color pigmentation we want, and then we take it through an extrusion process where it comes out as an ugali. We take it, put it in a press, it is pressed into whatever shape form you want, and then we go to the next stage. All that is processing, and then the next stage is pre-processing, where we do the finishing and the installation, and voila, that's how you take plastic and make it into building products. Honestly speaking, is a bunch of few things. The first one, our approach when it comes to recycling is, recycling has been, number one, very ornamental, very nice to have, you know. If you're in the upper echelon of the society, the high net worth individuals, it was nice to say that you recycle, but it wasn't necessarily functional or practical. That's what I want to put it clearly: functional and practical. So what our approach does is it removes recycling from a nice to have idea or just like ornamental to a realistic and practical and functional approach. So what we do is we take plastic waste, something which is a menace, not just in Kenya but all over the world, and we give it an afterlife that is very functional and in terms of application. So in a nutshell, we take the first approach when it comes to recycling is we take, in this case, for example, for the case of automotive, we take your car parts, or when your car dies, the lifetime dies, the end of life, and we move it from driving on the road to it being the road. You get it? It stops driving on the road and being on the road, and being the road in this context. That's the first one. The second thing, as far as recycling is concerned, that makes our approach different is everything, the whole process is powered by whatever is sourced and available locally. This solution is very practical, not just in Kenya, but in Africa and most parts of the developing world. Because, you know, most parts of Africa and the developing world, the challenges we have as far as waste management system is concerned is almost similar. And so this helps streamline the process. So in a nutshell, for our approach, when we plug it, so what plastic has been is it's collected, it's palletized, that which can be palletized is palletized, and then it's feed back into the system. That's one closed loop, okay? That's what, ideally speaking, has been there. But then using this formula and this format, you can't recycle all types of plastic. You have a lot of waste as a result of this, and also plastic that you cannot take into this loop. So what we did is we introduced another loop. For those who know Venn diagram, we introduced another loop, so it, ideally speaking, closes that loop. So I think that's very unique to us. Also, the technology and everything is locally based, and as you know, waste is very geographic specific. It's a very geographic specific, so that's a good approach. As far as construction is concerned, it being a product that can be stronger, cheaper, lighter is an amazing new concept. The ability to make it in different shapes and colors and do it very easily is also something very refreshing to us. And also the ability of it's able to drain water in, like to direct water in terms of drainage is also, I think, something very refreshing. So I think that's our approach. Challenges are but just a way of life, okay? So starting Gjenge in 2017, fast forward all the way to 2021, that is what we refer to Gjenge as Gjenge 1.0. That was Gjenge in the beginning, the inception stages, 1.0. From 2021 to 2025, last year, is Gjenge 2.0. from 2026, we're projecting all the way to around 2030. We are entering, or rather we've just entered into the next era of Gjenge, which is Gjenge 3.0. And so we are almost, by the end of this year, we'll be almost about 10 years in this space. The challenges come in every shape, form, or size, but I just want to mention a few. The first one is me as a person. I can say in different stages in life, me as a person, I have been a challenge in the business. And I know that can be very contradictory. How can a founder be the problem? But yes, especially in around 2022, around when Gjenge 2.0 was entering, I was the biggest challenge in Gjenge. Why? Because I had not morphed into the person, into the leader I wanted to be, or rather I needed to be. That was the first challenge. So let me categorize them in challenges in Gjenge 1.0, challenges in Gjenge 2.0, and then the challenges we have right now in Gjenge 3.0. So in Gjenge 1.0, one of the challenges was, they were very nice and simple. Now, how does the product look? How do we build the business model? What are we even building? What's the team? How am I going to start? It was very nice and simple. Knowing what I know now, it was nice and simple, but it was challenging. Let me give you a challenge that we faced one challenge that we faced so much in Gjenge 1.0 that brought me into the awareness was, if you ever want to start a business in manufacturing sector, and this is, I'm saying it specifically for manufacturing. I know you can have other problems in different sectors, but this is specific to manufacturing. In service industry, you can give out a service and then get the money. In tech, you can build a prototype and then have that prototype test in the market, start generating revenue, and then get the money. In agriculture, you can have some heirloom seeds or some store seeds, you plant and then you get the first harvest and then you sell it and then you get the money. But in manufacturing, you need that money first, then make the product and then sell it so that you can generate money. Because of that, you need the capital upfront. Now, the type of capital you need in manufacturing is key onto these 2 points. Cheap, patient capital. This is important in manufacturing. Cheap, patient capital. That's the challenge you faced. Even up to now, that's the same challenge. Now, cheap, patient capital, I'm talking about someone giving you funding and financing that can stretch you to 5-10 years without you necessarily having to start paying, and with very relative terms and very lenient terms. Why? Because number one, you have a lot of R&D to do. R&D is research and development. You have a lot of R&D to do. In our context, we had a lot of R&D to do. The other thing is the R&D in manufacturing never ends. It is a constant process. Number two, you can't just put a factory anywhere. You need to go to designated areas. Like, I cannot go in my hometown or in the outskirts of Nairobi where you have residential areas and the land is affordable or the rent is affordable and just put a factory there. You can't do that. You have to be in designated areas, because if you do that, NEMA is going to come for you. The other thing, that's number two. The other thing is regulations. Regulatory is a nightmare, especially when you are starting. Understanding what regulatory requirements you need, how we are going to get them, and where we are going to get them. That was challenging. Because for us, we need NEMA license. Now, NEMA license handles both the collection and the recycling part. We need county government license that does the business, the fire, the normal unified business permit, but you also need collection of plastic from the county government. So there's a lot of replication, because what you're paying for NEMA is what exactly you're paying for the city council. But those are two licenses separate. And then you go to KEBS, Kenya Bureau of Standards. You have to get that. How do you even start? How do you get the certification? And then there's the licensing part, and then there's the revenue. How do you pay revenue? Right now they've changed their model, and so you're paying KEBS every month, the way you pay KRA, but you also have to have the license. Okay. Move there, come to NCA, National Construction Authority. You have not only to be licensed as a contractor, but also you have to get the certificate, and you have to get the license. That's something else. Okay, then you have to be, of course, in compliance with Kenya Revenue Authority. You have to have the right tax obligation categories. If not, you're in problems. So yeah, those are just but a few. I've mentioned 5, but I think we have almost 8, 9. I've forgotten the others. I'll write them later. But you see, I had to figure out that, and if you don't, they come for you, and they come for you hot. So that's the other challenge we faced, regulatory challenges. The other challenge we faced, especially in Gjenge 1.0, is labor, skilled labor. In Africa, we have a lot of labor, a lot of it. But we have what we call mostly unskilled labor. We don't have skilled labor, or rather we don't have much skilled labor as we have unskilled labor. And so, especially in sectors like engineering, where skilled labor is very crucial, we kind of had to very all understand that we need the skilled labor, but we can't afford it. We really can't afford it. Skilled labor is expensive. So we have to build the skilled labor. And because we can't afford it, building it takes time. It's short-term cheaper to have someone who's skilled, but long-term expensive, because if you can't manage them, you can't maintain them. But it's long-term cheaper if you build your own skill. So that's the challenge we got, a balance between the skilled labor we need and how do we go about getting the skilled. So all that was in Gjenge 1.0. Now Gjenge 2.0, where we had figured out, we have now moved from the product market fit to process. We're now doing more of the processes. The challenge we had there was, now that's where the nightmare of quality control and quality assurance started. That one was a really huge challenge. The other challenge was logistics. How do we get the plastic? How do we process it? How pre-process it? How do you have it arrive in the factory? You know, let me give you a secret. In Kenya, and I suspect in most parts of Africa, the plastic waste in of itself is not expensive. It's literally free. It's everywhere. But the logistic cost behind it, now that's the devil in the details. It is the logistic. It's a logistic nightmare. Like literally getting that plastic from wherever it is in a form that you need to a factory where you need everything standardized to get this product. That process, the logistic process, is a nightmare. That's a challenge we had, figuring out how to map the logistics. The other element, so that's the number 2. Number 3 challenge of Gjenge 2.0 was, how do we replicate this over and over and over again? Like production process, doing the same product 1,000 times. That one we had production I can sum that up to technical problems. We had a lot of technical problems we, number 1, didn't foresee, and number 2, didn't know how. So remember, we made our machines, our equipment, the technology, everything, we made it ourselves. And so that, having the tech to support and manage that has been a huge challenge, especially in Gjenge 2.0. And then just like Gjenge 1.0, the finance is also a challenge, because when we were starting, the finance we needed was finance to start. Now Gjenge 2.0, the finance we need is finance to structure the business and just put it in a form that can start making economic sense. So you still have same challenges, but in different forms. But the solution is the same. And so if you're in the government, organizations like KDC, Kenya Development Corporation, organizations like Kenya, if you're a grant provider, African entrepreneurs need cheap, patient capital. Now, Gjenge 3.0. Now the challenges are a bit more sophisticated. The finance challenge is still the same, but now it's a notch higher. So sophisticated in the form of, we now need what we call blended financing. Still cheap patient capital, but blended financing. What do I mean by blended financing? A bit of grant, a bit of debt, a bit of equity. And how do we manage that? In Gjenge 1.0, our key focus was just equity and grant. We couldn't afford debt. In Gjenge 2.0, we did equity, we did grant, and a bit of convertible debt. Now in Gjenge 3.0, we're doing a bit of equity, hoping to get a lot of grant and a lot of debt. As you can see, the ratio keeps changing. So this is my understanding. Once again, I'm not a finance person, but this is my understanding. If you're starting a business, a project, or something new, grants are really nice because you can do all those tests and you can do all those failures without having serious repercussions. But if you can't get grant, equity is the next best thing. And especially equity that is simple. So you can use tools like SAFE. I will talk about this in another episode. SAFE is an acronym for Simple Agreement for Future Equity. This is a type of a tool that you use for equity. Equity is really good compared to debt, especially if you're starting and you don't know anything. The third one is now debt. Out of the two, the debt and equity, debt is the cheapest short term, okay? In fact, no, sorry, debt is cheapest long term. Equity is cheapest short term, okay? So once again, in Gjenge 3.0, we still have financial challenges as far as that is concerned. Getting now in this context, cheap patient capital in form of cheap debt that can help us run over operations, and equity from the right partners. And yeah, so I think the challenge keeps continuing, but that's what we're dealing with it now. And of course, production problems. We have more demand than we can supply, and so we still have production problems. So yeah, I think as usual, thanks so much for viewing this. Thank you so much for watching us. Once again, subscribe to our channel. And as usual, this is Gjenge Makers Limited. My name is Nzambi, and our podcast is called to Create, where we talk about faith, business, and science. And as usual, buy our product, Nunua Mawe. Thank you very much.